what I can say, as working in a product company compared to working in a service-based organization, what I have seen so far is, if you are working in a service-based organization and if you have been allocated, or as a fresher, if you joined a service organization, right? So they will give you a training on some particular technology, right? So once this training is done, and if you do that, suppose after that you have been allocated to a project. Now for that, in that project, you have to perform some task based on some skill. Now that is something where you are developing your experience, right? Now when you will get the next project, right, you will get the next project based on the skill that you have displayed in your last project, right? Now suppose I am someone who has worked on Node.js in my last project, but I'm aspired to work on Java, right? But I'm not going to get the next project on Java, because my skill set has been defined in the last project itself, that I am a Node.js developer, right? So this is one of a very big challenge what I have seen in terms of working in a service-based organization, that your skills were being defined at the very first project itself. I mean, you can't change that. you know Now, based on that, now if you now see, I mean, after getting a good amount of experience, and you are becoming senior or growing in a single organization, now you have some contacts. Using that contacts, you can change your domain. That is very rare, basically, but I'm just saying, in a very generalized way, right? But in case of product companies, right, so it's like a buffet of technologies. So you have to be passionate about technologies. If you are passionate about technologies, so you can learn, or you can take up any technology and you can work on it. So in every product team of not only Walmart, in other product companies as well, what I have seen, so mostly we use Node.js, Java, React, as well as in cloud architecture. So all these things are available in a single product, right? So I mean, if you want, you can work on Node.js. If you want, you can work on Java, and whatever it may be. And if you are a full stack, you are encouraged to take up UI as well as backend task as well. So uh, you know, learning skills or learning technologies, new technologies, right? What you are aspire to, that should not be a challenge in case of product companies, right? So, and also on the quality of work. Now the next point is, why what is the difference, and why the product company engineers get paid in I mean, it's like that there is no comparison about the compensation as well. Why so? And because, see, the thing is, you are delivering a quality product. In case of service organization, what I have seen, and what you might have also experienced, right? So we always think about and focus about the deliverables, right? So we do have a sprint concept in service organization as well. But the thing is, we always talk about deliverables, right? We have to deliver that requirement, or we have to do that, basically. No one is focused, or no one is concerned about how I'm going to develop that. They are much more focused about how I'm going to deliver that, right? So I can, I mean, it's like stitching of code, basically, what we say, in simple terms or layman terms, we do stitching of codes, right? So we have an existing interface. We have to, modify the interface based on some requirement. We sometimes, most of the times, not sometimes, most of the times, we search for a ready-made solution in Stack Overflow or somewhere else. We try to copy paste and try to curate as per our requirement and stitch that code with the existing interface. That's it. No one is going to validate. No one is going to review your code. It will get deployed into the prod. But what you are learning, right? The important thing is what you are learning. Are you aligned to the best practices of OOPS? Are you aligned to the best practices of coding? Ask yourself. Okay. So now when I talk about the process about product development, right? So in product, we are focused about writing efficient code. We are not focused about deliverables. Definitely, we used to give ETAs, we used to give estimates for a particular feature. So when a feature comes, right, we do we do grooming of that feature. How much time, or what are the stories? We break up the features into into multiple stories, into minute, into minute tasks, basically. Okay, in unit level task. And we used to define the estimate for those tasks. And we suppose if a task can be done in 3 days, we always take a buffer of 2 more days, like 5 days, right? So that we can do some basic, research and R&D, and another, mostly what we do is, suppose if I am going to develop a new feature coming month, okay, in the last month, in the previous to that month, we used to do kind of POC or R&D, how we are going to develop that. So mostly, 2 or 3 of us going to do the POC on that particular feature. And we actually compare the way of, the approach that we have taken to accomplish that requirement, or to achieve that task, basically. And after that, we decide which one is the efficient way of doing, right? Or which is the efficient way of, having that, of coding that, basically, from the low level design perspective. And, after that, we decide the way to go forward. So after that, we design the, the classes, the entities, and we define the relationship between the entities and the design patterns that we are going to use. So after that, we assign that feature to a developer, right? And the developer, and at that time when we assign that, that task to the developer, for the developer, it becomes very easy to implement. He don't have to go to any Stack Overflow. He don't have to go to any online, portal to look for code, because as a senior software engineer, my job is to provide him with all the specific details, how he is going to develop that particular class, because we have already done that experiment. We have already achieved that. And we are pretty much confident that what is the way forward to achieve that requirement. Okay. And we have already given him the class definition, the class design, basically, how the class he is going to design, and what is the design pattern he is going to use to achieve that. So he will follow that and he will design that, or develop that product, or develop that new feature, basically. Right. So this is the process, or this is the way we actually, work in products. And after that, and this is not just the end, this is just the starting. After that, after once he will develop the feature, he will raise the pull request, and that peer will get reviewed by multiple pupils. Okay. And once the, product feature gets released into production, right, it's like it takes 1 month of time, or more than, minimum 2 weeks of time from development to production. In that meantime, right, in the meantime, so people will review that. And if there is any review comment that may come to your way, you have to fix that as well. So, and as well as every time, whenever you are writing something, or writing a single line of code, you have to cover that using by writing the unit test cases as well. So all these are the best practices that we follow, that we all follow who works in product. And these are the differences that make you a good engineer. Okay. And see, there are a lot of good engineers available in the market. I'm not saying that those who are working in service, they are not good engineers. They are engineers. Okay. They are basically consultants. So the difference is there, actually. So, and what we do as part of a engineer, right? We are actually developing a product that multiple peoples are using, right? So, but in case of, service organizations, so you are making use of a tool to develop something, right? Now the thing is, who has developed that tool that you are making use of? They are the engineers, right? So it's like to, as you want to be a software engineer, so the main agenda is, if you want to be a software engineer, you have to be part of the product company. Else you won't be a software engineer. You will remain a consultant. So always think from this perspective, right? How to become a software engineer. So if you have to, if you are developing a product, are you developing a product that multiple or millions of people going to use?